Hello.
Hello, how
How
are you?
are you? You're so beautiful.
Thank you. An honor it finally is to meet and connect with you.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this day. Actually it's 1 o'clock in the morning here.
It's wow, the dedication and the time and energy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so that's why many will be watching this later in this area. Okay, and then in my YouTube channel. And first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a session with you. You are I've been trying to stalk your Instagram account, and I'm so amazed with the advocacy that you're pushing. And that's why I'm so interested to ask you a lot of questions. So, are you ready?
I am ready. What an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, okay. So, uh, how do you want me to call you? Jade, Carrie, how?
Some call me Kerri Jade, or KJ, whatever. Guide.
Okay, Carrie Jade. KJ. KJ, I would like you to bring us along during your childhood time. How was your childhood?
I am very blessed to have such a beautiful family and a beautiful support system. And my childhood was just very, spectacular. I'm very blessed that, God chose the family that I have. It all feels like everyone in my family just has a monumental purpose within this world that has really impacted my life and inspired me in many ways. Um, from a very young age, I till around like age 18, I was a top athlete and became number one in my state for softball as a pitcher, which ultimately, I ended up getting many blessed full scholarships. And that's just, my journey through that as a child. But my grandfather was a professor at New York Chiropractic College, and where he taught my mom. And she also became, a really well-known MD naturopathic healer and chiropractor as well. So it all really just inspired me to, have a placement within that for my mission as well. And my dad an investment banker, so he raises capital for companies and organizations who are looking to fulfill their missions as well. And my brother and his wife, they both work in hospitals in New York City, and in Long Island. So he's a perfusionist and she's a pediatric nurse. So they're working on hearts all day, saving lives. So everyone in my family and in my childhood just has beautiful souls, beautiful, and is really here to just help people in their own individualistic ways. And that really manifested into my life. And I'm just very grateful and blessed to be a beacon of light from all of them, and just like admiring everything that they've done throughout their lives has been really inspiring for me. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm KJ. I'm so interested. No, you had a very happy life. You had a very supportive family, and sometimes if you have that kind of background, you won't be really plunging into promoting advocacy. Not normally it's like that, no. But I'm so interested to find out when did you become interested reaching out to people, helping people, and promoting advocacy. And what's actually the major advocacy that you're trying to promote? Of course, I know once you have a major advocacy, other advocacies will, it will branch out to other advocacies, right? But then, what are you trying to really promote, and what's the reason why you have chosen that? And when did you start becoming aware about such advocacy?
Absolutely. My advocacy is to eradicate child and human sex trafficking. And to interconnect with the last question that you had asked about my childhood, like I said, I was very blessed to have, full scholarships. I picked my school in Boca Raton, Florida, which was Lynn University. And unfortunately, my career ended there with a car accident, so I couldn't play softball anymore. So the little girl inside of me who was like 15 years old, who loved personal development, and I couldn't just do one thing and just focus on one thing. I had to know everything that was going on in the world. So I started diving down into the rabbit hole of what was going on in the world that was unseen. And it's truly the things like once you see it, you can't unsee it, and that's how human trafficking really affected my life. But it also made me aware to an experience that I had that right after college. And when that ended for me, I started diving into modeling. And through networking and all of that, there were many blessings, of course, but I the dark side. And I was unfortunately a part of the grooming and exploitation process of human trafficking, and it
Mm.
drove an impact for me. So yeah, my advocacy for the Miss Face of Humanity showcase can definitely be very triggering for many people. But as I said, I am here to eradicate human and sex trafficking. And people hear that, most people disassociate and pretend like modern day slavery doesn't exist because it's the worst part of humanity that is truly hiding in plain sight. And most turn a blind eye to it. And it's because it's too unbearable to think about. And for
Mm.
that experience, I realized that you cannot be afraid to look darkness in the eyes in order to eradicate it. And most of humanity is truly just unaware, uneducated, or triggered when they hear that someone that they idolize are entangled within human trafficking, or worse, it's someone that they know that has been affected by it. So we are talking about the corrupt side of power within our governments, the elites, the music and entertainment industry, celebrities, and which are all involved by association. While they stay silent, they, heard. But yeah, they silence those who are truly passionate advocates that are just trying to use their voice to call out this and many other atrocities. Like you said, when you
Mm.
find advocacy, you start seeing what else is going wrong in the world, especially when it's dealing with human rights as a whole. So in worst case scenarios, on this topic, many people have been murdered for speaking about human trafficking.
Mm.
God told me this is what you have to do, like this is why you have your voice. And it truly is my priority and my commitment to start a chain reaction that unfolds, untangles, and eradicates modern day slavery as a whole, which includes forced labor, child and human sex trafficking, to go deeper, the adrenochrome blood harvesting of children,
Mm.
and organ harvesting, and which runs rampant worldwide because each child to a human trafficker is worth $250,000 for organ harvesting. But there is truly no price tag. There's truly no price tag that can ever amount to how precious a child is, especially
Mm.
because they are our future change makers as well. And the fact of the matter is that human trafficking affects 40 plus million humans worldwide, and it's continuing to spread like wildfire. And 25% of those that are being affected and trafficked are children. And sex trafficking is one of the world's fastest growing criminal enterprises in the world that's generating around $150 billion per year. And it's already past the illegal arms trade and is soon to pass the illegal drug trade because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time, but the most precious child 5 to 10 times a day for the 10 years straight. And I started looking beyond, what was going on internationally because that's where it all started for me. And then I didn't realize how much it affected my home and the USA. But trafficking in the US is amongst some of the worst in the world. We have 300,000 plus American children that are lured, coerced, groomed, and exploited into human trafficking every year. And we're ranked one of the top 3 nations of origin and consumers of human trafficking. And when I say consumers, I mean it's the pedophiles of America who also have the largest effect on international trafficking as well. And one of the youngest cases on record in the US are 2 to 4 years old in Connecticut that are being sold by their uncles and their fathers. It's an abomination. It goes, the United States alone is the number one consumer of child rape videos, and there were over 22 million new images of child pornography in this past year. That's a 5,000% increase in the last 5 years, and that happened in the pandemic alone. So I think it's really important that when speaking on this topic that we all realize that the majority of the grooming process of human trafficking starts right in our backyards. It affects all children and those of extremely marginalized groups who are extremely vulnerable to, that are vulnerable targets, such as, children and anybody who comes from an unstable home life. 60% of those that are affected are a part of the welfare and foster care system.
Mhm.
Undocumented immigrant children and women and men. We have LGBTQ plus youth that are kicked out of their homes. And even those who do come from stable family backgrounds with, parents that are just simply uneducated and not aware that it's happening right in front of their eyes, and they don't know how to look for the signs or feel the intuition of what is going on around them. And in worst case scenarios, it's the parents that are actually selling their children for drug
Oh
money,
my gosh.
whom in their past, may have been sexually abused themselves, and they are all
Mhm.
around. If you go deeper, you see that in the world there's cultural, ritualistic abuse. Um,
Yeah.
People, in some cases, are sold and coerced by their neighbors, their family members, their friends, being at school. And with the rise of social media and technology, it definitely has its advance point for traffickers to manipulate children as easy as ordering a pizza, picking up the phone and ordering a pizza. Like, that's how easy it is nowadays. So as Miss Face of Humanity USA, I'm beyond committed to being a voice for the voiceless, and I'm truly here to raise and evolve human consciousness, and I am here to eradicate child and human.
Mhm. You know what, Kerri Jade, while you were explaining all these things, I was really having goosebumps. And, I never realized the intensity of the issue of the problem. And that's very informative. And I hope, and I'm very sure a lot of, viewers later on will definitely get something from everything that you mentioned, everything that you've shared to us. It's, I feel so, it's so inspiring. You're such an inspiring woman. And according to Miss Face of Humanity updates, to make it lighter, kindly answer this. Why is she so beautiful?
It's why that's very generous of you. I want to hi. Um, we just had the Beyond Beautiful, Beyond Powerful interviews that happened, and I had mine 2 days ago. And one of the questions was, basically, surrounded around going beyond the beauty and going beyond the flesh, diving into just the soul, because we all truly are just souls having a human experience. And this is a meat suit. This is just the flesh of, and to be a voice for the voiceless. And
Yeah, because you know what, Kerri Jade, you're it's given. You physically you're so beautiful, you're so amazing. But when you started opening your mouth and sharing all these things, my gosh, the more I mean, you became 10 times beautiful in my eyes. And that's the truth. You're really so amazing, and my gosh, it was so poignant, no, those things that you shared. And now I started to become more concerned about this issue, which I'm not really looking into until now that you've shared it. And that means to say it was a very effective, you're a very effective voice of humanity. uh my gosh, I couldn't say. But let's try to, answer some questions, no, from our audience. Um, Entering beauty pageant industry must have a good branding in front of public. Oh my gosh, can you read it? How come I cannot read it?
I'd say,
Okay. Entering beauty pageant industry must have a good branding in front of public. There's so much do's and don'ts on how you have to behave. How do you manage it, and do you feel that yourself is changing?
mm, that's a beautiful question. Thank you for whoever like asked that question.
Namia 17.
I think the process itself, for me specifically, has been extremely guided. And for me, it's not that I'm a bend the rules type of a person or have to follow a structure. I just truly do it in my heart. And the content and the creation of all that just kind of comes into play with how I'm supposed to relay the message through art, through creativity, through just providing value back into this world in some way, shape. But
My
in
gosh.
industry, again, as Miss Face of Humanity, we really identify more as a showcase and being, the voice of change
Mm.
as change makers. And I just think everybody is able to leave a blueprint and a little bit of inspiration on going beyond the beauty and looking really into one's soul and what their mission is to do here on earth.
Yeah, that's one good thing. That's one unique thing about the candidates, no, the queens of Miss Face of Humanity. It's really you really go beyond the beauty. You are all beautiful, but then uh, in essence, you have all beautiful souls, no? And I think Miss Face of Humanity will definitely become, one of the frontliners in this realm, no? Because as you know, as what the Miss Face of Humanity organization is trying to promote, it's not just a beauty pageant, but it's a global showcase of empowered women, women who will be empowering other women, and with what you shared, Kerri Jade, you were able to embrace, the entire humanity, the entire problem, of humanity that exists. And I'm very sure a lot of people are still not cognizant about, the gravity of this problem until now that you shared it. I think, you know, with due respect to all the girls that I've interviewed, but this moment I felt something different with what you shared. Oh my gosh, no, I'm speechless actually. Okay.
You're leaving me.
Uh,
I don't know what to say right now, but in retrospect to all my sisters, I really truly
mm,
admire and honor all of them
mm,
God-given missions as well. And I'm
mm,
just elated and super grateful to be surrounded by such empowered
yeah.
with souls that
All of you are really, you have purpose to improve, the plight of the people in the world. And this is not the usual thing that we're seeing in other beauty pageants, no? Because, let's face it, in other beauty pageants, they have their advocacies, but more often than not, they do not walk the talk. But all the girls in Miss Face of Humanity, you are really doing something, to really promote and to pursue the advocacy that all of you are promoting. And that's why, my gosh, this is becoming, one of my favorite pageants, no, if you want to call it a pageant.
we understand
Okay.
that and we honor
Yeah.
that.
And there's another question here. What from Laura Lit from Laura Light Music? What is one of your biggest weaknesses and strengths? Of
Mm,
course, we're human beings, but definitely, I think the reason why this question is being asked on you is because they also want, the vulnerability in you because you're a human being, right? Even though they look up to you, they want to know that aspect that probably they could relate to. Mhm.
absolutely. Thank you, LJ, for that question. That is actually such a beautiful person in my life. And
Oh,
yeah, um, I would say my biggest weakness turned also into my biggest strengths. But like you said, all humans definitely have a weakness. But for me growing up, it was definitely expecting others to see through the same lens that I do, to have the same heart compassion that I do and the same intentions that I do. And I realized that was actually more detrimental to me to have that expectation on people. Um, but it definitely opened my eyes to realize that the only thing that matters is that my intentions are, and that the universe, God, whatever everyone's listening to, whatever your higher power is, that
Mm,
they see your intentions, and to not ever dampen a part of your love and a part of yourself and how much you're willing to give, because it's never reciprocated. So for me, it was definitely in that aspect. But going down and, coming back into my humility and experience it, the last 3 years for me, I had gone through some major, health issues that were really unexpected, but it really reshaped my comfort zone and my confidence, because I never suffered with anxiety before, and I now suffer with unwanted anxiety when my body goes in what they call a fight or flight.
mm,
But for me, it's not like the fight or flight that people would normally think about. It can even come in like really exciting situations. Even having a conversation,
mm,
I'm not going to lie to anybody. Like I get like nervous, I get anxious. So I
mm,
really try to and do a lot of breath work like while I'm sitting here right now. And it's also just it's a really big mission. And I know I'm not
yeah.
a the vessel and the voice to do it. So I would say that
Mm,
that's the compass of how I've taken, my biggest weakness and transformed it into my biggest strengths, because I couldn't imagine my
mm.
voice for anything else.
Yeah. The advocacy that you're trying to promote, the advocacy that you're trying to pursue is actually very gigantic, no? It's very huge. And how do you intend to propagate this? How do you intend to
Mm.
uh, up to what extent do you want to bring this advocacy, remember, you're only one, okay? And then, of course, with the help of the organization and with the help of the other girls, no. But what are some of your plans in order for you to, to promote this on a global scale, really, wherein you would really see a result, right?
Mm. That's a beautiful question. For me, it's the what itself is the how. It's like how important it is to have your why. Like I think the what is just as an important element. Um, and you're right, the Miss Face of Humanity organization has truly already blessed and amplified my credibility to attract the access and gateway to connect with other organizations that have the abilities and access to in and dismantle child and human sex trafficking rings, with the clear goal of saving, precious souls and the children of our future generations, future change makers. But it's the safety of all humans' lives that matter within any topic of where any extremities to human rights are tested. And human trafficking does not discriminate against your race, your ethnicity, your skin color, your gender, or your religion. And it is my ultimate goal to educate the masses through marketing campaigns, public speaking events, of how, deep this corruption and darkness of this reality for millions goes. And I know how LJ was on here that asked the question before, but LJ is helping me,
Mm,
and we're coming up with music surrounded around how to, like, what would you say to a child that is currently being trafficked, and even a message to the traffickers, like, what would you say? So we're just being really creative in what we can do to use our voices to get out there. But just another known thing, it costs around $2,250 to free and take care of just one child. So I will and intend to provide humanity with the education, the resources, and tools to make sure and that this curse of human trafficking breaks now, to provide all survivors with a safe tomorrow, a safe haven to refuel peace, faith, and hope, and to receive the rehabilitation and reintegration and care and compassion that in which my nonprofit Angel Healing, which is launching this month, will be providing, and which is the most important element of the rescue mission for our survivors and the change makers of our world. So, as I said earlier, my father is an investment banker. So, and I have a beautiful team of people around me. So, we plan on raising money for them to receive scholarships, to receive training, education, and resources and tools that they will ultimately need to succeed in life after the trauma. And we will be providing, and this comes in now where I said earlier how my family kind of interconnects with everything in my mission, amplify them. We will be providing a bridge and a plethora of Eastern medicine and holistic homeopathic healing experiences so they can heal on a multitude of levels. And for me, it's to see the ability and the capability that the human soul has to be able to truly triumph over darkness, and which is extremely fascinating to me. So I really want to be a part of that journey. There's already other people that out there and have amazing organizations to go in and break the cycle. But I personally, as Miss Face of Humanity USA, because it's not about the crown, it's really being able to use my voice and have this blessing already to represent my country, to oversee the eradication of child and human sex trafficking. And my mission truly, I want to say it enables any and all other missions that anybody can have to run more educated, ethically, wiser, smoother, and safer, that involves the betterment of an evolution of our God human rights for all humans, our children, and the future generation change makers. And at this moment, knowing what I know on just a broad spectrum, nothing else should matter until every human is saved from the darkest parts of humanity. And again, the majority of humanity still needs to come and recognize and acknowledge and get educated that modern day slavery has a major present existence in our world. And staying silent only gives predators their power. So we hold and carry within us this power to liberate and break the generational cycles and curses of what our history manifested for us today, causing unimaginable and unfathomable division. And it truly has caused us to not see each other through the eyes of God in the way God created us to see each other. So as Miss Face of Humanity USA, it is my mission to have angel healings mark on all 7 continents where it's needed. And it's my intention to utilize my resources and network of social media that I'm extremely blessed to have all around the world to open the minds and hearts of others to join us in our mission to eradicating child sex.
Oh my gosh. I'm, I'm so sentimental, right? I'm so emotional, right? Oh, really, seriously. I feel so emotional. And to reinforce what the Miss Face of Humanity updates, which message a while ago, you are really a very beautiful soul, Kerri Jade. And you know what? At this very moment, I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed that I get to know you. And I really hope that I could really meet you in person, because I know I would learn more about you. How old are you right now, Kerri Jade?
I am 25 years young and eternal.
Very young, and imagine with that age and with that kind of vision, with that kind of dreams for the world. My gosh, this is so amazing. Kerri Jade, let's talk about the pandemic, right? Because we've been, experiencing this pandemic for almost 2 years now. Uh, how does this pandemic change your perspectives in life?
Mm, that's a beautiful question. In my opinion, the pandemic really tested everyone individualistically and in many vital ways. It can easily be viewed from many perspectives itself, whether negative or positive. It on the lens in which people see through, but it really forced us all to reevaluate ourselves and the world around us. And it's really showing us what works and what does not work as a society. And it showed us the simplistic nature of going within ourselves to dig a little bit deeper if people are open to doing that. For me, my personal experience, if I can share it during the pandemic, I couldn't fly home. I was in Florida. My parents are here at home in New York. But I was beyond blessed with the opportunity to take care of my grandmother for an entire year and have just special one-on-one time with her. And what an honor that was for me to be able to give back to the woman who is part of the reason why I exist, that I would not be here without her. So she's 93 years young. The time that we got to share together was beyond profound. And it was once in a lifetime, experience that I will be forever grateful to have had. And she had just gotten out of the hospital. So I basically learned how to become a nurse and a caregiver all in one. But on a serious note, I 100,000% do it over and over again because that time was beyond profound and precious. And I would say the biggest takeaway that it really helped me nail down, it really helps me appreciate the present moment, every moment, and life itself, and to cherish those that you love unconditionally, even more than you already thought you possibly could.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, it seems that your plate at this point is so full with all these worthwhile projects that you are promoting and with you're doing. Do you still have time for your personal life? I mean, it's like, do you still are you entertaining, or can you still manage to entertain suitors or dates? Because I'm very sure a lot of guys would be, running after you. And do you still? I know the priority is not yet that one, but then somehow do you still manage to go on a date, accept some offers from guys who would like to meet you or to know you more?
Um, I am blessed to have a partner is on
Oh, mm,
who is on their own mission and creating their own nonprofit as well. And it's to create daytime and empowering spaces for the LGBTQ
mm,
community, which is a huge vital part of my mission as well, because again, it human trafficking really does affect a lot of these communities. So, but when it comes to my day-to-day life, I would say until from the gap of around 19 years old, I got into my car accident and I couldn't play softball anymore. And I was really trying to figure myself out. And I went through the good and the bad and the traumas of experiencing the grooming process of what it was to go through for human trafficking. Went through like this healing period for like 5 years. And I just, I was really blessed and grateful again to have my family and the support to just kind of be able to be a human being and not a human doing and have to worry so much. So I had all that time to really just
yeah, that's nice to know. Yeah,
um,
and it's so nice to know that you managed to get a partner who is also very supportive of your cause, right? And that's so amazing to know. Before that, let's greet first one of your sisters, Miss Face of Humanity Kenya, is watching right now. Hi, Nisa.
hello, sis.
Okay. Uh, let's have, there's another question here from P is for Paris. Tell us more about your plans for moving forward. How would you use your title of Miss Face of Humanity to continue to change the lives of others?
Mm, I think I touched upon that in the last
Yeah,
question to
yeah.
me. I don't know if they're just getting it now, but just to kind of miss everything. Um, I don't want to like go over everything again because I know it's going to be,
Yeah.
but it does cost $2,250 to free and take care of one child. So we're going to be raising money to rehabilitation, reintegration, the care and compassion that is needed, and also to money so we can help them receive scholarships and training and the resources and the tools that they're going to need for success. And I'm really grateful to launch my nonprofit, Angel Healing, this upcoming. And it's our goal to have these healing resorts and centers up and blossoming, so the survivors come and get that and the rehabilitation that they need.
Mm. Okay. Let me ask you a question about, you know, uh, integration or teaching of sex education at school. Do you think it's something that should be done, that should be integrated in the high school curriculum, so that students will be more informed about things like that? Or what's your take on this?
Absolutely, that's a beautiful question. I think maybe the question can be rephrased more to teaching kids about their identities instead of like
Yes.
focusing
Mm.
like the sexualization of things, because right now with the LGBTQ, it's important that our children are heard with how it is that they identify, and holding compassion and space for them to even teach us something and teach the parents something as well. And I think it's just a beautiful experience for especially a child to really discover who it is that they are, without the atrocities of what our society has labeled and put labels onto things. And yeah, it's just very, very important that future generations and even people now who are struggling with understanding what their identity is, that they hold grace for themselves and that others hold grace for them too while they're discovering who it is that they are. And everyone's on this journey too, and on a very spiritual and profound level. This is very deep. Like, we're all what I call duality, all masculine and divine feminine energies within us, no matter what our meat suit looks like. So I think it's really important, again, for our children and the systems of our world to kind of adapt to what isn't new, because this has been around, this knowledge and this wisdom, and just being able to be free with who you are is nothing new. It's just the way that the media and the propaganda kind of portrays it. It's like this new worldly thing, but it's truly not. And I'm very blessed and very grateful to have my life to really teach me about all these these lessons and this wisdom.
Okay. Uh, are you in favor of death penalty? Other countries in the world are, still practicing death penalty, but I'm so interested to know what's your take on it.
That's a deep question. There's two voices in my head. One that is here to find justice for the children, and then obviously there's the other voice in my head that is saying that I almost need to live out there in a cell, reevaluating exactly what it is. Because as we see right now with the Jeffrey Epstein, he took his life. A big, he had one of the largest known human trafficking rings, but I heard the survivors talking about how they almost wish like he did not die. And their reasonings were mostly because, again, they wanted him to live with what he had done and to really sit with that for the rest of his life. So there's obviously many opinions about this. Um, I hear one of my favorite sayings in my head, there's their job, there's my job, and there's God's job. So I really try to leave, these types of things up to God, and whatever God wants is truly is what's going to happen. But I think there definitely needs to be a reevaluation within the system itself, to figure out and make sure that what they are doing, and if this is exactly what they're going to do, if they're going to go through with the death penalty, that they either got the right person, that they're accusing the right person, and Godspeed. It's a really difficult situation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry because I'm asking random questions because I really want to know a lot of things about you because you're a very interesting character. You're a very interesting woman. Uh, we are aware that, although we are claiming that, women are given equal rights as compared to men,
Mhm.
if we're going to really make if we're going to take a closer look in, different parts of the world, uh, it still exists that women are actually discriminated in the workplace and in some other, areas, no? So, do you think if women because majority of the leaders in the world are male, right? They belong to the male species. If you think if majority of the leaders in the world are women, how different it would be?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. I think we're starting to see it on the rise now, and I can see it through vicariously through the eyes of actually one of my sisters, and I'd love to talk about her, Miss Face of Humanity Afghanistan. I
Oh,
Miss Humanity US.
Louis.
I am very grateful to have the privileges and the freedom that I do to be able to use my voice without worrying that if I step out of my house right now that I'm in a target at this very second. But I'm so admired by Miss Afghanistan because I'm very inspired, and it's one of the topics that I was very, I dove into because women's rights in Afghanistan alone, like if we take away the workplace and like just like monetary
Yeah.
things, and we focus the way that they do not have the freedom of speech, the freedom to, be who they are, to just be a without worrying about being murdered, being abused, being trafficked. So I'm very connected to Miss Face of Humanity Afghanistan, and I think she's the perfect exemplification of what I said earlier, that you cannot be afraid to look darkness in the face to be eradicated, for there to be a change, and for also, in retrospect to the question, to see that women do have this grounding force that men also have to be protectors and not only nurturers for the rest of humanity. And we've seen throughout, our history just what war does and what fear does and perpetrates back into this world. And I don't know, with a woman's touch around, humanitarian rights and things as such, we can come from a more loving place, but still be stern about it. And I think it's going to bring a shift, not only for women, but for men as well.
Mhm. What is a typical day for Kerri Jade? On
What is,
top of all this, the Miss Face of Humanity pageants that you're, preparing and all like that, what's a typical day for you?
oh, a typical day. I thought you said a difficult day. I was like, oh my God. A typical day for me. I love to wake up in the morning and just give gratitude, and just be really grateful to have woken up. I love doing meditation. And this is just me in my life. I can't just see myself doing one thing. So throughout my day, I like to do something, whether it's around my creatives, around my hobbies, and around my passions. And I'm very blessed to have the mindset to understand what it is to create generational wealth. So in my life, like I really want to be able to be anywhere in the world and be able to make money wherever I am, so I can do the things that not that I just love and enjoy, but so I can be around the world and making and leaving my footprint and a part of my mission everywhere that I go, so I can continue on helping, bringing awareness and change to humanity, especially not just, with, human trafficking. I'm really admired by all my sisters, and I'd love to see all their missions flourish. So whatever I can do to help bring everyone's missions into fruition, it's my ultimate dream to help others, seek a life by their own design.
Mhm. Okay, somebody messaged me personally. He said that you are a very beautiful woman, and haven't you tried, competing in Miss Universe because you're a Miss Universe material? Why Miss Face of Humanity?
You know what's never really thought about being, I always watched and idolized, the shows I never thought it would happen for me. It just wasn't on my radar. And then divine orchestration happened, and Face of Humanity just like popped up on my, like, I literally heard an audible voice say, go. And I had my interview, and it was like basically, obviously answering the questions that they had, but I just really wanted to know how I can bring my healing resorts into fruition. And then when it
Mm.
them asking me what my advocacy was for, I had so many things that I was so passionate about when it came to human rights. But then again, this audible voice was like, this is the time, this is the place, human trafficking, you got to go do it. You got to voice. And you have, they say when somebody has and adopts a cause, they have a really personal connection to it. So for me, it was just a no-brainer that this was the perfect showcase to go beyond the beauty
Mm.
and to really just hyper focus on our missions, our visions, and what it is that we wanted to do to be the ultimate change maker for society and as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, oh, what's this? I'm lost now because I'm drawn to you. So I'm drawn to every time you speak. I'm so drawn to you. Okay, how are you going to explain to a child, okay, who is struggling from mental health?
Hmm. How would I explain to a child that is, going through mental health is first off, I would definitely give them the biggest hug ever. And I really want to listen to where and what it's coming from and know that and reiterate to that child that whatever you're going through, aside from that, you matter. And this is going to create and turn you into a way stronger person. And I feel like I would be talking to like my inner child, from like growing up myself. Because, yeah, we about the exterior beauty, but I think as children we all go through some form of trial and tribulation, and we've been bullied, we've gone through family situations, everyone kind of goes through things. So I think just really being able to adapt to what it is that the child is talking to you about and really come from a compassionate place and really just be that safe space for them in that moment and hear what it is that they're talking about and just let them kind of divulge into what it is that they're going through and just reiterate to that child that it is going to be okay. And for me, like, I probably offer some wise wisdom of what helps me, like whether it's journaling, whether it's turning music into art, um, and just again reiterating to that child that their life is so precious, that they matter, they are loved and they are protected and they are safe.
Okay. How did you find out about the Miss Face of Humanity? Uh, was there someone who approached you about it, or have you found it in the website or in their social media account? How did you become the Miss Face of Humanity USA?
No, absolutely. Again, like I was saying, I was really looking for a place to showcase my voice more than just screaming over social media and on my Instagram stories of what was going on in the world, trying to wake people up through just, again, posting on my stories what was going on. And amongst many other human rights atrocities that are taking place in the world. It wasn't just human trafficking that I was focusing on, but I knew that it was the closest one to my heart because of what I've been through. And during that time, I was just looking for something, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes our phones hear us and they know what we're thinking, and like all of a sudden something just pops up on my phone, right? So it just ended up popping up on my phone, like the promotion for it, that it was, they're looking for candidates, da 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 da. And I was just like, okay, God, I hear you, I see you. Like, I'm gonna just go for it, and whatever happens, happens. And it's interesting that I had my interview before the pandemic, so I found out almost like a year later because they were like going through like a huge cycle of looking for candidates. There was like over 1,000 candidates for the U.S. and one day I was just at lunch and dinner with my family, and I got the message, and it was like a year later after my interview, and the process had won. So yeah, when they messaged me, like my heart sank, and I was like, no, I'd like to share the news with my family. And ever since then, it's just been a beautiful process, step in and really see that the building blocks were kind of being laid out to step in as this voice for the voiceless.
If there is one, if there is one personality, a world personality that you would want to meet for a dinner or for lunch or whatever, no? Who would this personality be and why?
You know what's interesting? I would probably choose someone who's not even on this planet anymore. I would probably
Really?
I would probably choose Princess Diana.
Okay.
The reason why I would choose Princess Diana is because I can feel in my heart and my soul after, diving into her experience and what she had gone through, that she was also a voice for the voiceless, and she was ready to start calling out a lot of the things that I'm talking about right now. And I feel like we would have very similar missions. So I feel like she's definitely somebody that I would love to have a sit down, or would have loved.
Okay. Wow. Okay. If your life will be a book, what would be the title of your life, of your book?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. I hear the title in my brain that I've used from a very I started doing personal development, and I call it like live a life by your own design.
Okay. I'm interested to know now what gets you excited about life.
What gets me excited about life is definitely my motivation and driving force of knowing you're on a mission, and I'm not just here to, just mess around and yes, have a human experience and enjoy the experience of living life, but my voice was sent to do work and do God's work and to make sure my coming into fruition. So I wake up every day knowing, especially now more than ever, how motivating it is to know that my impact is going to create a legacy for future generations to come, that
Mm,
the safety of all children stand when I'm not here on this planet anymore.
mhm. Okay, Kerri Jade, if there is no Miss Face of Humanity Global Showcase, what would you be doing at this time if there's no global showcase that
Absolutely.
you're preparing?
Well, I was also on course to getting my real estate license. I'm a very like multifaceted, dimensional being, and again, I couldn't just see myself doing one thing. But ultimately, I was going to get my license, so and a certificate and training in homeopathic medicine, because I wanted to create this resort that had all these, healing experiences that people can get. But it all kind of unfolded together. It's like it's so interconnected, where I'm gonna have like a safe house with like on the resort on site, so they can still get those healing experiences as well. So I was just creating the blueprint around that and just kind of go
Mm,
that, because I've gone, like I said, the 5 years prior, I just had done so much soul work and like so much healing that I was like itching to do something. Like I needed to actually start making change,
mm.
making way in my life and what I was going to do here. So yeah, that's basically what.
Okay, so it seems that you've been preparing for the without even knowing that there would be such a global showcase of Miss Face of Humanity. You started preparing 5 years ago, right? Okay, now whatever happens after the global showcase, after the coronation, after the selection of the winner, uh, whatever happens, no. Definitely if you will win the crown, definitely you will definitely be working with the organization. If unfortunately you don't clinch it, uh how do you see yourself uh 5 years from now?
I think
5 years ago you started working on and it seems things are going your way with the Miss Face of Humanity. Definitely, it's a perfect, fit, no, avenue and platform, no. After the Miss Face of Humanity Global Showcase, how do you see yourself, in 5 years' time?
Mm, that's a beautiful question. I really believe again that regardless of a crown, it's not about like winning. I don't even, that's not even in my mind. Whatever God wants is going to be. And I really just believe that this showcase has really lit a fire of like burning desire inside of me to start making and building the path in which it what's going to get me to create, and bring in my mission work into this world. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to know exactly why and how I have just chosen in itself and prepared for this task, that to make that in my life for future generations to come, that every basic human right and need is met for all humans, no matter what, because I have unconditional radical love. So either way, without the showcase, again, it just really has given me this foresight to what it is that I need to do and how to structure that. Because someone like me, I really need structure and I need a blueprint on how I'm going to get something done. And I really feel like Miss Face of Humanity, like it gave me the answer to the question mark. That was like, how am I going to do this? So the next 5 years are really going to be dedicated to making sure that my first two locations of my nonprofit Angel Healing come into fruition, and that they're in places that are really in need of a change and in a safe place for survivors to go, and not just human trafficking survivors, like all across the board, any abuse survivors, and just any survivor that needs some rehabilitation, some love and compassion and reintegration. I'm
Mhm.
able to provide that and ultimately have a location on all the continents in the world. That's my ultimate goal. So yeah,
Mm. What kind of a friend is Kerri Jade?
it's so interesting talking about myself and like kind of reevaluating this, but I just really love connection. I love human connection, and I'm very blessed and grateful to have seen different sides to like how people are in my life and their placement in my life, their purpose in my life, but just holding complete and utter, having an open heart, holding complete space for people for what they're going through. I'm a non-judgmental human being, so I really want to be a safe place for all of my friends and family to know that there's a being here that genuinely my soul wants to make sure that I'm okay. And I just want to see all my friends
Okay.
thriving.
So, of course, no, it seems that you're a very strong woman and you love empowering people. But then, of course, you're a human being, and there are times in your life where you feel down, you feel frustrated, you feel disappointed, right? When you encounter such feeling, what do you do to overcome it?
Hmm. I definitely really take it with myself, and whether it's singing or listening to music, doing things that kind of just raise the vibration for me to get out of a place where the noise and the voices in my brain. I just reiterate that it's not true, that that what is going on inside, it's just kind of, it's the traumas from my past trying to keep me from moving forward. And I know
Mm,
it's not true. So I sit and I just really reevaluate how far I've come. And again, whether I do the practices of meditation, I'm really grateful to have my Reiki one attunement. So I sit there and I just really focus on the energy. I discern the energy of where it's coming from. And I really just take the time to dissect and discern, how it is that I'm going to get out of this moment. And for me, I'm very quick. I don't sit in like sorrow or like negative for a long time. It happens within like an hour. Like it's very fast. I just can't do
mm,
it if I don't allow it to happen. But again, through music and just my own little forms of therapy and happy moments to just bring and refuel joy in
mm,
my body.
mm. Yeah, amazing. So your birthday, you mentioned to me that your birthday is in June, right? So it's specifically which date?
My birthday is 6/6/1996.
Okay, so you're a Gemini.
I
All right. Okay, that's why you are very witty. That's why you're, as far as I know, as far as the people that I know, Geminis are actually very witty, very intelligent, no, very smart, and you love adventures. No, you really love traveling and reaching out to people and all. I think that explains why. And you know, Kerri Jade, you know what? You're a very interesting speaker. I mean, I do not know. No, it's indescribable. What I'm feeling right now is that, my gosh, this is one of, this is the kind of woman that we need, no, to become the voice of the world, no, to become, the ambassador, the ambassadress. We are talking digitally. We are talking online, but then the positivity in you penetrates to my whole being here. I mean, I could feel the positive energy that you are giving out, and I think that's very powerful. And I really wish that you know. People will get to watch you more. People will get to see you more talking and sharing your experiences, your advocacy, because it's I cannot really pick the right word to say, but it's so engaging. It's very engaging, and while listening to you, we become also we feel like we want to be with you. We want to be with you in your pursuit for the advocacy that you're trying to promote. That we want to help you, things like that. I mean, we feel it that we want to help you. All we need is a woman like you who would initiate this, and with that kind of charisma that you have, Kerri Jade, I'm very sure more people will go to you to help you out with your cause. This is Miss Face of Humanity has opened, a bigger platform for you to really, realize all these things that you really want to happen in this world. And uh, I'm a teacher by profession, and that's why when somebody speaks like that. For example, I have a student, and then I could feel the sincerity, the authenticity in the person. I'm deeply moved. I'm really deeply moved. Uh, with a 25-year-old lady, woman who has so much things to offer to the world. My gosh, I hope you could be cloned. I hope you could be cloned that we could see more Kerri Jade in this world. And you know what? Serious speaking, you're prettier. As compared to the photos that I'm seeing, you're prettier. I mean, my gosh. I never expected actually. I was expecting to see a Kerri J that I'm looking at your Instagram now, but now when the first time oh my gosh, she is beautiful. Really, really. Oh, you were pretty. You were beautiful in the social media in your Instagram, but seeing you right now, my gosh, you're 100 times beautiful.
was
Uh,
speechless.
uh,
Number
your parents are still alive, right? Right now.
my parents.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, yes. Thank God.
Okay, thank God. No, and but you're not staying with them. You're not living with them anymore. You're living on your own.
I'm actually home right now in New York because my parents are beginning the process to sell. We sold our home, so
Mm,
reflecting and seeing where like my little toes are running around this house.
mm,
The baby. It's just a bittersweet process. So I love I can live with my family for the rest of my life and I'd be happy. Like just give us
mm.
a beautiful home where we can all just like go down the hallway and always still see each other. Like
Yeah.
love my family.
And how many siblings do you have? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I just have one older brother. And like
Ah,
I
okay.
hospital, but I now have a new sister because he's newly married, and she's just been an angel in all of our lives too.
Okay, so amazing. When do you intend to settle down, to get married? Of course, you already have a partner, but then when do you want to really go for it?
Um, I think we both are very aligned with our missions, and everything to me always happens in divine timing. I try not to even give my time on anything I know.
Yeah, thinking about it, right?
I think we both are just like really in a space where we want to make sure that we are grounded, that are a part of our mission and finances are in a good place. And again, it's more about the love. It's more about just the camaraderie, the evolution,
Mm.
being with a partner more or less than it is about, getting like, soul union, unity, union.
Okay, actually, the Miss Face of Humanity wants me to ask these questions to all of you. Okay, first, why should they choose you as the Miss Face of Humanity?
Mm, that's a powerful question.
Mm,
I'm going to answer kind of how I answered the other question about the what. With
mm,
that question, it's the why for me, and I believe that this is giving. And from an earlier age, like I truly have learned that having your why and your how is that like given tool of inspiration and motivation. So as Miss Face of Humanity, it's really my soul's intention to again oversee as one of God's warriors to wake up the world and evolve human consciousness and make sure that the eradication of human trafficking is seen through, and that every single human on this planet knows there's someone out there who is willing to use their voice, the privileges and freedom that I do dearly, deeply keep with myself and know that I have, to go and make these changes and to at least be a voice for them. Um, I truly, again, only see all my brothers and sisters of this world through intense unconditional love, and I'm just really here to make that change and to use my resources, my connections, and my network that I'm very blessed to have all around the world to make sure that we're making our mark and that I'm getting to all these places so I can make that change in the physical.
Okay. The other question that they want me to ask to the candidates, but I think you have already answered this somewhere along the way. Currently, what are you doing to promote your Miss Face of Humanity platform?
The ways that I'm being able to promote my platform is through many creative, endeavors as well, through music and creation, but more or less making sure that I'm getting out there and meeting with other organizations and other nonprofits that already have the success and the blueprint that I'm looking to attain in mind. Um, I'm extremely fortunate and blessed to have, again, like I said, many people around the world who are willing to amplify my voice and my mission. So there's a lot of media coverage, a lot of public speaking forth. I have a lot of creative people around me that, and a very beautiful team that is really just helping put in place a system that is going to be extremely impactful for all my initiatives and campaigns. Like I said, I launched my nonprofit this month called Angel Healing. My website is being built for that right now. I have merchandise with beautiful big words that say end human trafficking on it, and many other, very impactful sayings on it that I want to be able to have it be donation based. And for instance, my next event coming up while I'm home in New York, I'm going to this like it's like kind of like Toys for Tots, but it's for children
Mm,
and anyone who is homeless, who just needs around Christmas time. I've been collecting. I myself made like 200 bags of for women,
mm,
conditioners, food, clothing, hand warmers, pads, tampons, just things like that. And I also had around like 4 people just drop off big bags at the house to me. So just making sure that no matter what, yes, my voice is being used for human, trafficking, but making sure I'm also taking care of the people in need right now around me that I can, start making an impact towards getting my name and my initiative out there. And again, like it's just all divinely guided to me. A lot of, the people that are meant to be there to amplify my voice and to be a part of this journey with me end up always, coming into fruition for me.
Okay. Another question from them, no, what should be done to defend world peace, no, to and foster relationship among different countries? Probably in the context of you being the Miss Face of Humanity USA. So, what can you do to defend world peace and foster relationship among different countries?
Mm, that's a beautiful question. I think nonetheless, doing what you can as an individual when you're going up, you know, the governments and all these like rules and regulations that exist in this world, just knowing that one day, like your voice to penetrate back into the world and knowing that your perspectives matter. So for me, like just looking at how the world is right now comes from two sources of energy. It's either being perpetrated by fear or it's being perpetrated by love. And why do wars exist? Wars exist when there's division. There's there's no peace and no love, right? So I think the more love that we're able to put into the world, also being the voices for many other things that are going on in this world that go unseen and that our governments don't talk about. I think as humanity, outside of the structured systems, the more that we come together and do not let these systems divide us and put propaganda out to create more fear, I think collectively create people all around the world where is and the love that we have within ourselves for each other and can show the world around that beyond our flesh, we all have a beating heart and we all have the same, materials of the earth that create our bones, that we can truly recognize each other as our brothers and sisters, and our voices will reach our galaxies.
Okay. Last two questions, no. Um, there is this, weekly fan votes, no, from that is introduced by the Miss Face of Humanity. So how do you promote yourself so that your fans will be able to put you in a top spot?
This is so crazy and bizarre to me because when the website first relaunched, when they put out the new website and the fan vote first came out, for some reason the link wasn't working for me. So I honestly forgot that we had launched the fan votes. And about a week ago, I just started. I was kind of letting people know, like, hey, there's going to be live voting. Like, there's ways that you can support, my cause and my mission. So I kind of already planted the seed in people. But I think just me by planting that seed, when I actually started launching and put the website out that, hey, like it's live, about like a week ago, I had so many people just really bless and support me. And it, again, everything to me is very divinely orchestrated and the way things happen. God just can, and it's all going to come into fruition for me. But like I was saying earlier, just we're extremely creative. My partner and I were coming up with really amazing things that can just really inspire people. So I think like just
Yeah.
by putting in action and creating, everyone's just gonna kind of, make their way and kind of understand what it is that, we're doing and how we're trying to educate people on what is going on in our world. So I think people are joining the family. I don't want to say joining the train with me, but like
Mm.
really creating a family of people, like I
Yeah.
question to really see each other through the eyes of God, that we're all brothers and sisters. We all matter. We all have a divine mission here to go against the agenda that has been perpetrated into society and into humanity, to create this civil division amongst all of us when we truly all have a beautiful culture that are all different, from one another, that can all offer so many wonderful things to each other. And we're all here to learn from each other. So again, just
Mm.
really here to unite people. And I think
Yeah.
people, it's just going to show itself. And I'm just really grateful and very blessed for the support that I have.
The reason why you're getting such support is that I would like to be very emphatic about it, and I would like to reiterate it because you're very inspiring, and people see your authenticity, you know, the genuine person in you. That's why it's not difficult for you to get support from people, you know. The moment you actually open your mouth, that's it, okay? You know, I mean, you already get you know, the support of the people, and that's why you keep on saying you're blessed. Yes, you're blessed, because you are very inspiring. You are a motivator. You're a great motivator. Every time you say something, I feel motivated, no, to do something to the world also. No, I'm not a Miss Face of Humanity contestant, but then I want to do something, and that's very powerful. That means to say you really move people. You really compel, you know, people to really, you know, do something and act. And that's why you are a very good, you know, a speaker. You are a very good ambassador or the face and voice, no, of humanity as well. No, Kerri Jade, uh, what do you wish to accomplish if you will be given the opportunity to clinch the crown of the Miss Face of Humanity and to, you know, get the title? What do you wish to accomplish within your reign?
I think again, just really kind of coming full circle with everything is to oversee the eradication of child and human sex trafficking. Because, again, like I had mentioned earlier, for any and all other missions, to really work ethically wiser, smarter, and safer that involve children. This is the first step that needs to be addressed because people do not want to address or see or educate or be aware just yet for some reason that this exists. And again, it is very dark to, look at it in the face, but then it's very important to find communities and people who are making that change, who are using their voice, and finding ways that you can support them without thinking that your voice needs to be heard as well. Just your awareness alone that this exists, it takes away the power from the predators that perpetrate human trafficking, that are, traffickers. So what I intend to do, again, alongside creating my nonprofit, Angel Healing, and making sure that that comes into fruition in all continents, and making sure that survivors have these, healing resources to go to, and safe spaces to reintegrate and heal. I know for a fact that I'm very blessed to have these people all around the world that are ready for me to come and travel to them so we can go on, mission work. Whether it's building homes that, in places that it doesn't need, whether it's um, creating infrastructure to make sure that places have clean water. There's so many things within humanity and many causes that I'm very passionate about to go oversee and overseas to see what is actually happening that may not even be covered here in the US. Like, while I do my research, for example, I'm very passionate right now about what is being very unseen, and maybe I want to know if people in here have heard about it. But what's going on in China right now, they have concentration camps that
Yeah.
have, very a marginalized community of Muslim minorities, and what they're doing, the abuse to these human beings, and they're organ harvesting women's reproductive organs so they cannot, reproduce. There are many things that are going unseen in this world that I intend to bring into the limelight, and I'm just ready to do it. So it would be I'm going to do it regardless of having a crown. Like, it's not about the crown to me. Having this crown would make much more of an amplified impact to go into these places and make these changes occur, a lot smoother and quicker. And maybe having the right resources and people to talk to, with having this. But no matter what, without a crown, I love networking. I love connecting with people. So I'm going to make and form those connections regardless. And this is still my mission. Like, this is what I intend to do on planet Earth, regardless if Miss Face of Humanity had ever came into my existence. Like, this is the path I was on.
Wonderful. Kerri Jade, it has been a pleasure really having this session with you. And, words are not enough, no, for me to let you know how much I admire you, how much I love you as as a Miss Face of Humanity, and please count me in your cause. Whatever support that you need. We will definitely, extend our help for you to really fully realize the advocacy that you're pushing, because this is, the whole world will benefit from your cause. And it's a pleasure really talking to you and knowing you. I mean, I feel like, the connection that I have with you right now is that I feel like I've known you for so long. It's like that. I feel like it's like you're my student, you've been my student, like that. And,
Many
the
lifetimes.
yeah, and the discussion that we have is really very genuine. I mean, very authentic, very natural, and this is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. To all my followers, to all my friends who will be watching here later and in my YouTube channel, please, this woman, let's support her with her cause, because the world needs women like her, all the women of the Miss Face of Humanity. Let's support them, so that this world will become a much, much better place to live in. And oh my gosh, it feels so good, no, to have this kind of interview wherein at the end of it you feel so empowered, motivated, to help out and to reach out to those who are in need. And thank you so much for having that kind of power to motivate us. I'm very sure everybody who are watching are actually feeling the same way that I feel.
I am so honored. Thank you so much
Mm,
for creating this safe container in this space to have this open
mm,
dialogue and communication, not just with
mm.
myself, but with all my sisters, because all our voices really are
Yeah.
here to
Mm.
create monumental missions. And you yourself, you have such a beautiful soul, and the feeling's mutual. I feel like I've known you for a lifetime. And
Yeah,
I know we're going to be connected more than just, doing this live stream
exactly. Mm,
as well, and have you a part of the angel healing team regardless of the crown. Like I'm creating this mission, I'm creating this nonprofit, and I'm looking for people as yourself as well who see
mm,
it and now are really feel that they need to bring awareness to what's going on as well. And that's all I'm here to do. I'm just here to be a voice for the voiceless. I'm shouting for
mm,
all the children and the humans that are currently right now enslaved in human trafficking. And I feel the words that are coming out right now are
mm.
specific, like just designed for them to be heard and to be seen and to know that people are listening and people want to help them. So
And you succeeded actually, Kerri Jade. You succeeded in sharing what you really want, because I myself really, in all honesty, count me in, count me in. You have my 101 support. Okay, so I hope you will have a good night. No, no, it's morning there, right?
it,
It's
it
morning.
was just two,
Evening. Afternoon there, right?
yeah.
No. Yeah. I do not know, no. I cannot really fathom, the feeling that I'm having right now. But I would like to give you my virtual hug and my virtual applause, for, this is for me a blessing, no, knowing you. Mm. And I wish you all the best in this world. I hope that you will be safe most of the time, and including your family and your partner. Keep it up, and the world needs you.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm really excited and honored to be connected with you as well. And I know we're gonna do great things together. So
Yeah, we
thank
will keep in touch, and no, hopefully, I'll get to meet you soon. We
yeah,
can never tell. You might see me in Canada for for the Miss Face. Let's see. We can never tell. But whatever it is, whatever happens, good luck.
thank you.
Okay, best of luck.
Thank
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a warm round of virtual applause and a virtual hug to our Miss Face of Humanity, United States of America, Kerri Jade.
That's still so like it doesn't register in my brain still. I'm like, oh, let's I'm like, oh,
Okay.
I have this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity and have a good day.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.